Welcome to D-Mod Garage. We're back on the 1970 Beetle for Kiera. In the last episode, if you go back through the playlist, you'll see we got the wheels on and we started just putting a few parts on, doing that rubber seal around the bonnet. And we went to a swap meet on the weekend. Unfortunately, I didn't film it. I probably should have, but we got our trim. So that's courtesy of Rick at Vogs Recycle. He gave us, and it polished up really nice. Now, we did get a couple of other goodies at the show. I managed to score this little guy here, the indicator surround for the front, and I got this little 1600 badge, which we're going to polish up. Now, I know it's off a Type 3, but I think that's going to look really nice on the back of Millie's. Now, also with Millie's bug, we went and got the roadworthy. It passed straight away. Unfortunately, the gearbox has some problems. It's popping out of third gear, so we've got to try to sort that out. I don't know if it's a shifter selection issue or whether the gearbox might have to be rebuilt. We don't know. We'll get to that later. But at least it passed that stage of it, so we can get it onto club registration pretty soon. So today's episode, we're going to install those guards on the front. We've pretty much finished off I've got the other little piece of bright work on here that got done too. We'll probably start onto the doors and start assembling the components inside the doors as well, so we can get that done. But I just wanted to get those off the rack so that they're not in the way. So we need to go and get some hot water to soften up our plastic beading, because this stuff is like really difficult to put in if it's not hot. All right, let's go and get some hot water. Okay, let's grab a guard quickly. Start with that one. Yeah. Just to show you what's going on over here, you know, then things never work as you want them to. You can see underneath, lining up these holes is not going to be easy. They've got so much flex in the guards, so you just got to manipulate them and try not to scratch the paint. We're going to go and heat up these beading so we can get that shoved in, because I think if I put some more bolts in, it's just going to make it harder to get the trim in. So we'll see how we go. A lot of fandangling and fiddling. All right, let's get the trim sorted. Okay guys, so I've actually just placed the beading inside it. You can see I haven't actually tightened up the panel yet. We just used the heat gun to soften up the material because it has little kinks. Where every bolt goes, there's a bit of a kink. So we just sort of heat it up a little bit to manipulate the plastic. Then we can start tightening it up. We'll just start from the top here and move down and go from there. You can see it's actually a lot more softer now. It's hard to really juggle it, try to get it to sit where it's going to sit. We'll head to the front, and that's done. Okay guys, it's the next day and we are just about to fit the headlights. So our problem was we didn't have any of these. Now That one's a broken one, but I've got a couple of new ones. We're going to get those installed in a sec. I've just put a little bit of white paint on the 2 spare tyres, or spare rims. These ones are one's going to be for Millie's, one's going to be for Kiera. They're just going to be the spare wheel to put under the bonnet. So white base coat first, then we'll do the 2 pearls, and then the blue and the orange. So we'll get those done too. Okay, let's continue over here. All right, guys, we got the headlights in. I gave these chrome sections here a bit of a buff up, and they've come up pretty good. I mean, they're not new, they're second hand, but the lenses match, all is good. We had another one of those real bugger jobs, and it's putting this tube in here, and tried the rope method, didn't work, and then used the heat gun with some WD-40 and just sort of manhandled it in there. Yeah, one of those ones that just takes forever. Anyway, headlights are in. We've just been respraying these rims. We did have another reaction. Unfortunately, there's got to be an incompatibility between the 2 paints, so I've decided this one came up fine. This is Millie's purple pearl. You can't really see it, but it has got a purple tinge to it. That came up perfect. When I went to do Kiera's one, we had that cracking separation issue again. So I just decided, bugger it, stripped it all back again. I don't know whether it's the KBS reacting to the paint, but there is 2 different brands of paint that we're using. So anyway, gone back over it, put some 2K primer on. We're going to let that dry. Then we'll put the white back on. The issue is the white base coat, which is this one here, and that is a 2K base coat. That goes on fine, and let it dry for about an hour, and then as soon as I went and put this on, which is the yellow pearl, again sprayed on perfect. 15 minutes later, bang, separation, cracking everywhere. So I don't know. Obviously, these 2 paints don't like each other. What I am going to do is put this on with hardener, let it dry for a couple of days, then sand it, obviously, and then put the yellow on top and see what happens, see if we get that same problem. We shouldn't. This probably isn't drying enough, and that is reacting with it. So anyway, just a bit of an annoyance, I suppose, we've got to deal with. Yeah, once they're dry, then we can shoot the rest of the orange. I'm going to reshoot the glove box again. You can see it's up there. That's that little 1600 badge we've been playing with. So we might put that one onto Millie's, I'm not sure yet. A little bit of wiring I had to do just to get those headlights to work, to get them sorted. We're going to continue under the hood here, just putting the rest of the ducting in. Yeah, slowly, just little bits and pieces. We've got to get the headlining sorted. I think that's going to be one of the next things. So, all right, let's keep moving. Righto, guys, we're onto the doors. We've just put these little clips in, and they're a pain in the absolute neck because they just want to keep popping out. You can see that one there. I haven't quite tapped him in yet. You just got to give it a bit of a tap. But I also cut and polished. This one just had a little bit too much orange peel on it. I didn't like the look of it, so I went back over it with some 1500 and 3000 and then polish. That door there was fine. There was nothing wrong with that one. And yeah, we've just been slowly putting some bits apart. We did try to straighten the horn button, but unfortunately it snapped. I tried heating it up. You can see here, you know, bang, because it was actually bent sideways. Wasn't quite the right profile. So we'll have to get another one of those. Hopefully Rick can help us out up at Vogs Recycle. Yeah, a bit of a bummer. I was going to try to weld it, but there's kind of no point. I think it's pot metal and it's too difficult, so that'll be a part that we need to get. I did clean this up. That was really dirty, and I just put some Prepsol and wax and grease remover in there and a bit of polish, and she came up all right. That's done. We also put this in. We're still waiting for some ducting, and then we can finish this off. And also we need to bench bleed the master cylinder so we can get that sorted. So let us quickly just tap this last nipple in. And it's always scary doing this because you think you're going to miss and hit the panel. You try not to. Let's have a go here. No real other way to do it. There we go. That's what they're supposed to do. Now the trim, you literally just line them up. I like to start in the middle and just bang. Make sure they're square. Line them up. I'll go to that side in a minute. Let's get this one in, that one's in, this one. Polish off. And the last one over here. This one's giving us some trouble. No. Try again. Done. Alright, one door down. Let's get the other one up here and do that too. So these little holes, just make sure that they are perfectly round and they don't have an excess of paint inside them, otherwise you won't get those clips in. Because I know I've tried these things. Okay, placing them in. Good, and they want to pop out, they're just kind of annoying. I would have loved to have seen how they did this in the factory. That's how they should go in, just a very quick short tap. Make sure they're square. There we go, that was a lot easier. Yeah, believe it or not, they do seem to have a bit of an orientation to them. Yeah, that's correct there. You've got to get them square. That's the key to them going in. Like that. Done. That was a lot easier than the first one. Now we'll get on to the handles. Now these were the original handles and they were pitted so badly, and you can see how good they came out. They just had a lot of oxidisation on top of the chrome, so I ran those through the buffer just with some very fine aluminium polish and the fine mop. You know, I spent about 10 minutes on it, and you know, it's amazing. The quality of the German chrome back in the day was so much better than the junk we've got now. So they're going back on. I mean, they're not perfect. You can see in here there's still some pitting going on, but you know, again, for this car, it's going to do. So we'll get this stuff installed. Even these little parts here, which are the VW, they've got a little logo inside them. Reuse them, because the new ones you buy, the quality is just not there. And there's nothing wrong with this, so it's going back on the car. Here we go. Okay. Now I don't know whether, I think there is supposed to be a rubber under that one. Yeah, I think so. Let me go and find that. Okay, so that's the piece that was missing. It's just a bit of a rubber, or hard plastic I should say in this case, but it should work. It's not the best of qualities. Alright, let's feed that in. that. I'll just grab the screwdriver. Alright, that part's done. We've got latches. Now, parts that we don't have, that we will have to order before we can get these sorted, is the door scrapers. You know, this aluminium piece that goes in here, we haven't got those, so we're going to have to order them before we can finish off the doors. Also, we're not going to be installing them because Matt's going to need some access to get the headlining done. So pretty much all this stuff's got to come out of here, and then we'll get him to sew up a new headliner for it. I think the roof's pretty good up there. We'll probably have to start sticking up some of the insulation padding in there before, but yeah, we'll have to just wait for him, I suppose. Now have to just keep going on other little bits and pieces. Now I am actually going up to the snow for a week, so this is going to be unfortunately a shorter video, so I'll see you guys when I get back. We've got the last week of the season here in Australia for skiing, so we decided we'll go up and have some runs up there. So we'll see you when I get back in a couple of weeks' time, and yeah, stay funky, guys. Yo.